All right, guys. Let me check my sound, make sure everything is okay on my end here. Welcome, everybody. As you can see, the title of the live. This is what I want to talk about, and the fact of the matter remains that we have to leave Miss Femi Claudius-Cole alone, guys. So this live is going to be quick because you guys know already I did a live again this morning. So this morning is going to be very quick. It's straight to the point. Because I saw this video of Miss Femi Claudius-Cole where she did a live to talk about the August 10th committee that was put together to look into what actually happened, talking about, who the organizers were and this and that of the August 10th protest. This is what bothers me about this whole thing. The reason why they keep disturbing these ladies, especially Miss Femi Claudius-Cole and Mayor Ivonaki Sawyer. I did a live about Mayor Ivonaki Sawyer the other day, talking about all of these, the August 10th committee inviting her over, to interview her about, the fact that allegedly they're claiming that she was part of the people that organized the August 10th protest. So I want to talk about that. And I want to show you guys a video of Miss Femi Claudius-Cole that she did today. I happened to go through Facebook real quick and I saw it because I had no plans of doing another live, but I know I might not be able to do a live again as the week begins. And this is the only day. So let me do it, so that I can get it out of the way. But what is important here, the point that I'm trying to make is to establish this fact. Leave these ladies alone. President Bill and the SLPP, they keep destroying and damaging their own reputation and character. Because when they levy these accusations against these women, just because they've been very vocal about issues that are happening across the country, it doesn't look good in the eyes of the international community. So when President Bill goes to the VOA and does these interviews talking about women's rights and restoring 30% for women in parliament and this and that, but then look at what they're doing to these ladies. All because these people have been a thorn in their flesh, challenging on constitutionality, especially Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole, and likewise the mayor herself. For no apparent reason, they keep going after these ladies. So I want you guys to listen to this. This is a video from, Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole that she did today. I want you guys to listen to it. I'm not going to play the whole video, but it's on our page. You guys will go and see that, or the live on our page. But what I want to do is at least lay the premise so you guys would see exactly where I'm going. Because again, the August 10 protest, the organizers have made it very clear that they're the ones who organized, and the government knows what they're doing. But the reason why they keep going against and disturbing these ladies is what I don't understand. They can find other people that they can go after that organize the protest. I'm sure they have enough of those people. But as far as we know, disturbing Miss Femi Claudius-Cole, mixing up dates. Of course, Miss Femi Claudius-Cole is going to make it very clear she never supported any protest, except for the fact that the females, the women, them, July 4th protest. You guys saw those protests of the women, them. You guys saw how she supported those because they came to her that they want her support. And she's going to explain that in this video. But again, before I even play the video, I want you guys to see. This is the special committee on the screen here, what you guys are seeing. Let me put this, make it a little bigger. Actually, let me give you guys that document. August 10 Investigating Committee. So yes, I want you guys to see this, right? This is the August 10th Special Investigating Committee. I want us to at least read it together here. Okay, so the context is Excellency the President Brigadier Retired Dr. Julius Marabio constituted a diverse yet competent Special Investigative Committee on 24th August 2022 to look into the August 10th incident that caused destruction of property and claimed several lives, including those of police officers. And by the way, just so everybody sees this, excuse me, Special Investigating Committee, these are the people that are sitting. So this is the summary of their TOR in terms of, what they're going to be doing, basically describing their responsibilities with everything they're going to be doing to investigate this matter. So let's read it. Broad objective. The overall objective of the investigation is to examine both the immediate and underlying causes, sources of financing, execution, and consequences of the incident, as well as the response of the security forces. That is their mandate. That is what they are authorized, and that is what they're going to do. Right? So the specific objectives are to identify and investigate the key planners of the incident of August 10th, 2022. I don't know why they keep going against Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole and Mayor Ivonaki Sawyer, because these two ladies have no hands with the August 10th protest. They were not involved at all. We all know that, Andy. The thing is this, it bothers me because I'm one of the proponents. I'm one of the people that will say the August 10th protest was very untimely. It was not necessary at a particular point in time, but that does not take away the fact that the people still have a right to protest, right? I made it very clear. Registration was around the corner. I didn't want it to disrupt the process. We were all against it. We didn't say anything because, again, leave people to do what they want to do. We would think that Sierra Leoneans would have, thought about it before even, doing anything. But they decided to go out there and exercise their rights to protest, which is their democratic right. It does not mean anybody should die. Police officers should not die. The citizens that lost their lives should not die. Absolutely, just because they protested, regardless of what it is. The other live that I did the other day, I showed you guys what it was like. Those folks that entered the Capitol in America, the police could have killed almost all of them in that building if they wanted to. And it would have been within their rights to shoot them down. But they did not shoot them down even though they committed a crime. And that is why they're prosecuting them. Over 700 of them that broke through the Parliament of America, then they prosecute them. They're going through prosecution, so man, they go jail. These people broke a building, broke windows, broke doors. But Sierra Leoneans are, as innocent as they were protesting, they did not deserve to die like that. So we established that fact. I was totally against the August 10 protest. We saw how people run away all over the country. People fled to Guinea, Liberia. Some people moved from the east, went to the western part of the country. When the legislation came around, their faces were put on posters, notices around the country. The police is searching for this person. Police is searching for these people. So they threatened these people so much to the point a lot of these people were able to register. I knew the government would use that against them. And that was why some of us were against that protest. And there was no way Miss Femi Claudius-Cole and Mayor Sawyer had anything to do with the protest. The organizers of the protest came out clearly and made it known that they are the ones who organized the protest. The government, if they want to do what they want to do to go after those folks, it's on them. But leave these ladies alone. Leave Miss Femi Claudius-Cole alone. Leave Mayor Sawyer alone. They've told you guys there is no evidence to back your claims that these people supported, that Mayor Sawyer or Miss Femi Claudius-Cole supported the August 10 protest. There is no evidentiary evidence. Matter of fact, they should not have even been invited. Because you can only invite these people to an investigating committee like that if you have evidences that these people actually were part of the people that planned the protest. But they keep tormenting these ladies just because, why? They are political opponents. They are political figures that have stood their ground in Sierra Leone. So I'm going to take you guys back, way back. But like I said, let me play the video of Miss Femi Claudius-Cole first, and then we'll take it from there. Let's watch this video.
Everybody, me na Femi Claudius-Cole. A lot of people they know and they don't see the letter where they invite me to the commission where they inquire into August 10 for go help with the investigation as it were. So now there they come out. And before I forget how all things go, and I feel to say some of una they support me. But they will care about what happened to me. And I don't go want for let people begin explain na so happy, na this and say, na that and say, or even for let a report come out, we get, I don't know how they get for put a report. That is not an issue. But I feel say the public will be seen but me deserve for know exactly what happened na this inquiry. Now, I go there. First way I go there, they look surprised, say I can't be lawyer go. But when I go talk to one person, I think maybe not than 10 or more of them, they go ask you questions. Now, the chairman, who I believe say Emmanuel Safa Abdullah, yes, I get him correct, he do the opening. Now, when you begin to talk to a person, that opening is very critical, it's important. And the way it open as far as me able for discern how me perceive with a level of accusation. If Nani organize August 10, where to make, etc., etc. So the way don't begin ask me question, me self don't begin look and say, I don't understand this guy way they call me for camp. So I explain to them, and I go explain to the public, because this video will stand the test of time. They mention a lot about me tweets. They mention a lot about me, the fact say my Facebook page. They mention to the extent where they talk and ask me so say they mix up themselves, they box up themselves. Then confuse July 3rd with August 10. And because I saw you for make this accusation, because inside that committee there were cool heads, but there were also heads who don't already make up their mind. It was obvious to me. They not do their due diligence. I saw you, but not too. If you want for quote, say na this a tweet, you they call me. Una tell. And indeed, the government they pay fine money for this commission. I think only right say the offending tweets them or the offending part of the Facebook posting, una printer, una ola. But waiting ever a tweet, waiting ever a say. That evidence they so to go. That evidence they, now person go look, he say na so you been say or na so you been do.
Right.
Then confuse two things. Then confuse that July thing where they arrest me with August 10.
Right.
Then see me they make poster then I go post. I say, committee, I know they talk say I know don't lie in my life. I know they say so. If I say so, that's Mr. Don't lie back. I know they lie. As much as is possible, I always lie for stay on the side of truth. I not organize Augustine. I not even organize the July 3 where they arrest me for and lock me for 5 days. I was not the organizer. I explain say I support the women of Sierra Leone, and I will continue to support the women of Sierra Leone as the only female political leader in Sierra Leone, head of a political party in Sierra Leone.
Absolutely.
It is for me to support and embrace all the women.
Absolutely.
So I supported them. And I stood by them.
Which is within the right.
But there's a clarification between supporting
And organizing.
and organizing.
Absolutely.
I not organize, I not plan. They then ask back if me no say, no, me tell them say the woman them protest hardship. And the last time when we look the constitution, I been say and say they say you can protest, but the law say you know for process. I say so if the law talk other thing, me na nurse, me not a lawyer. And you una is a lawyer, you when they ask me question, you na lawyer, so no una na lawyer. I say so now let me understand. I say so the woman write the right letter. Say, we want to come out to while the police protect, we let bad people let not inside Panama. I said, maybe if you say that's what the law says. But una will get the law, una in a better position for no more than me. I said, but point of clarification. I not organize, I not plan protest. And you ask me the question 510, I will tell you the truth. 510.
Absolutely.
I did not organize and I did not plan.
What I want to point out with this, guys, it's for everybody to understand. With these kinds of special committees, when they set up special committees like this, the folks that you're going to be inviting, these are material witnesses. It means for you to invite these people, you already have the evidence of why you're inviting them. That is why you organize special events, special committees like these to investigate. You don't just call anybody because you feel for call them. Then when you call them thinking these people would go and answer that, okay, yes, I was the one, I was doing this, I was part of this and that. You have to have the material evidence to even invite these people. And this is why I want to call the attention of this special investigating committee. If you don't have evidence tangible evidence to prove that these people that you're calling to interview or interrogate in your committee, if you don't have the evidence to back up the reason why you're calling them in the first place, that is first of all a violation of the human rights at this particular point in time, because you're painting them with a negative brush and you're painting a picture of these people like they are part of the problem, and they were not part of the problems. They did not organize. Therefore, you have no evidence to show that these people organized the protest. You have nothing. There is no letter from Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole. There is no letter from Mayor Sawyer. There is no video of Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole. There is no video of Mayor Sawyer to show proof that they were the ones who organized any of these protests. So until you have those substantial evidences, you should not even be calling these people. This is a basic that everybody should understand, that these guys, if they call themselves lawyers, for some of them that are sitting in this committee, should understand that premise. So at this particular point, this is harassment for them to be calling Mayor Sawyer and Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole to interrogate them in their special committee, because the only people that they should be calling should be folks that they already have material evidence to prove and substantiate to the fact that these people were part of this particular protest. They are not calling them as witnesses. They're calling them with an accusation to say that these people organized the protest. Because when you listen to Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole, that is what they said. The first thing they said, why did you organize this protest? So they're accusing them, accusatory. That is what they're doing. And this is why this is very crucial, and this is why it's important. Remember, think about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Go back all the way to how the Rebel War started in Sierra Leone. Who were the perpetrators of the Rebel War, right? But when you look at the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, SLPP skewed the reports to make it seem like the APC were the perpetrators. The APC was the problem. Shaka Stevens' APC were the ones that caused the war. No, they did not go back to Albert Bagai that passed the criminal libel laws, right? The 1965 Public Order Act that, caused a lot of, violating the rights of citizens in Sierra Leone. Journalists were locked up. The same law that President Bio claims he has reverted from our books, right? Some sections of that particular 1965. But that is what they are doing. So what they're doing is painting these people, creating an image that is going to be very negative for them, like they've already committed a crime when they did not commit a crime. So they are accusing them already of a crime, even though they have no evidence to support and substantiate the reason why they called them into this investigative committee. This is basic common sense. But this is where it's a good thing they have a lawyer. If I was Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole at this particular point now, with my lawyer, I should be filing a lawsuit against this special committee for harassment at this particular point in time to the judiciary. Of course, again, we don't know what role the judiciary is going to play, but we are looking at the judiciary. The number one cause of the Rebel War was the judiciary. But Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole should file, a petition now to the Supreme Court, if possible at this particular point in time, to stop this committee from harassing her any further, because she had nothing to do with August 10 protest, as far as she knows. Again, this government knows who were the people that organized the protest. The folks that organized the protest, they're not hiding. These people are not cowards. They're not like shy of the fact that they organized the protest. They are sitting there. They said, we are the ones that organized this protest. Come get us. We are the people that organized this protest. For them to be harassing Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole, for the harassment of Sawyer, it is undone. If a BP say that people and they hide for saying that we organized the protest, then I get it. But the people that organize the protest are not hiding. They establish the fact that they organized the protest. So until they have substantive evidence to prove for them to be calling these ladies into this committee, then they have no business going there. That is my advice to Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole, and Mayor Sawyer. I'm not a lawyer, but I can consult with lawyers to see if that is out of the remit of this special investigating committee. They have no evidence to substantiate the fact that they are calling these ladies now to this special investigating committee, and especially the fact that they are accusing them that they are organizers of the protest. And that is why I said I'm going to do this live. But let me show you guys something. I'm going to show you guys something.
We will forever stay.
This is Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole. I'll come back to this video at 6 minutes 55. Let me write it down. I'll come back to this. 6 minutes 55 seconds. I'll come back to it. All right? But I want to show you what she's talking about when she mentioned something that had to do with the July 4th that they're talking about. This was when they arrested her. When I watch this.
On the siege, right?
So I'm really getting so many calls right now that I mean,
I think we did on the siege.
I don't know how come they think. Yeah, for speaking up for the masses. Hello? Precisely.
Hello?
And the masses want to have their voice.
I'm not calling a regular call.
The masses want to have their voice. They say that they march. They say that they march. Now, how does this deflate the women? when they see me being arrested in this way and manner? How does this deflate the women? So right now, all my way don't come fend me there on the house yes, with me. Luckily, I have a baby here, newborn, all just trapped here with me. But anyway, this is it. So, as I said, they're talking to me now. Let me see what they want to do.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
Oh, they know. They know. Show me. Paste it here. Let me see it. Yeah, you want to have a word with me about what? Okay, let me show it. Show me. Paste it here. Let me see it. Just paste, look, paste the warrant here on the door and I will see it. If you have a warrant, I will come out. Let me paste the warrant here. Let me see the warrant.
You open the door.
Paste the warrant, I will see it.
You open the door.
Paste the warrant, let me see you have a warrant.
I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly.
Give me the warrant. You have a warrant. Let me see the warrant. Just paste the warrant. Once I see the warrant, I am coming out. Let me see the warrant.
Stay inside. I will continue securing you.
Secure me. No problem.
I said to say aggressive.
No, I can't sit up.
I want you guys to see
What
that.
am I coming out to clear what name?
I want you guys to see that. This was the July 4th when the women them came to Miss Femi Claudius-Cole to ask for her to support them. She didn't organize the protest. The women organized the protest. July 4th protest. You all remember that protest of July 4th? When these women came out to protest and they were badly brutalized. You guys all remember those videos by the police to the point where, what's his name? The former Inspector General, Suvula, had to go and apologize because the pressure from the international community when they harassed these women. You guys remember that. But I want to show you guys this because they keep harassing these women, Mayor Ivanaki Sawyer and that of Miss Femi Claudius-Cole, for no apparent reason. When the protesters, the ones that organized the protest, that called for the protest, they've made it clear that they're there. And I want to share a video just to refresh the memory of this special investigating committee for them to remember and understand that the government, we know they're doing what they're doing in the background to go after whoever they say, organize this protest. Let them do what they have to do, but leave these ladies alone. Leave these ladies alone. You don't get video, you don't get audio, you don't get picture, you don't get anything for show this woman them saying that they organize a protest. Why are you harassing these women? At this point, it's harassment at this particular point in time. And that is what the international community should understand. Because again, when you go through the Twitter page of Miss Femi Claudius-Cole, she's very brash with these guys. She's always stood by the people of Sierra Leone, protecting democracy. But look at this video. Watch this video.
Inside Salon, say, what's your government doing about Adebayo, who is based in Holland, causing problems for the country? Please explain to us, Mr. Foreign Minister. So I think the people that care about the peace, stability, and tranquility of a country. Anybody who sit on some side, they destabilize our country, the Sierra Leoneans the one for know what they do about her. And who better to respond to that than the Foreign Minister himself? Yes, sir.
Well, again, Mr. Information Minister, are happy with this question Warden raised. But government, not everything we did talk about. Every credible, respectable government, not everything you did put in a door. Government, not to social media. Governments, they do very serious things them way most of the time we not they talk about. On this matter, I want to reassure all Sierra Leoneans then that this matter will be resolved once and for all. Now, the simple message that, and as I know, last week, when I don't see him on social media, not to me, SSF even put him initially, now the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of the government of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, then at the Dutch government, now SSF invites me, and we meet, we don't talk, I go together with the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, we don't get very serious discussions at government to government level. We don't start a very credible process. And as we meet again at the UN General Assembly, yesterday, I meet with the Dutch Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, and we don't talk again. So I just want to reassure everyone, in the interest of peace, security, and stability of the country, this matter will be resolved once and for all, and resolved credibly. Government will not wait for talk about everything. So Lord just left them, we say I don't put them for now. But I just want to reassure and say this matter will be resolved.
Thank you. That is where it should end. But for them to keep going after Miss Femi Claudius-Cole, Mayor Ivonaki Sawyer, when they've both come out here and told us that they have nothing to do with this protest. Mayor Ivonaki Sawyer, going on 98.1 or AYV, told the nation about this whole thing. I had nothing to do with the protest. Stop harassing these people. These people that organize the protest are not hiding. They're in plain sight. You can see them. Go after them. Leave Mayor Ivonaki Sawyer. Leave Miss Femi Claudius-Cole alone. I know the committee has to make themselves relevant, and that is the problem. Because they want to stay relevant, so therefore they're going to go after people like Mayor Ivonaki Sawyer because they know it makes news. They're going to go after people like Miss Femi Claudius-Cole because they make news. Because other than that, they have nothing else to go up on with. They have nothing else to go off with. But the people that organized the protest, they're there. They said, we take responsibility. They took responsibility for their actions, for the protest that they called. So responsible government, what they should do, as long as they can guarantee that this person, whatever it is, if they want to invite these people to come and sit with this special investigating committee, all they have to do is write to these governments, do what they have to do to ensure that they bring these people, or these people, let's say, volunteer. Because if I'm organizing a protest, I should be man enough to understand that if there is a time when we need to answer certain questions, I should go and face these guys head on. Because I call this protest and I'm taking responsibility for my actions. So it's two-way street. Either voluntarily, this person, the people that organized the protest, August 10th, come out. Because again, don't forget, citizens are being locked up. Then they die now in a jail. The other day, Ishmael Bangura also died. One of the protesters, where they arrest, when they lock up Pademba Road. He died because they are torturing these people. They torture them in Pademba Road prisons. And any of these other prisons where they are. They're being tortured. So the people that organize the protest, do they have lawyers to stand on behalf of these citizens? Because when you call a protest, you have to make sure you follow through all the way to the end. Just don't leave people hanging there. So again, this special investigating committee, the government, if they are working what they're doing, let them leave people like Mayor Ivonaki Sawyer alone. Leave Miss Femi Claudius-Cole alone. Go after the folks that organize the protest. They're not hiding. It's not that they're hiding. They're not cowards. They're not afraid. They're making it clear every day that we are the ones who organize the protest. Why do you keep chasing Miss Femi Claudius-Cole? Why don't I keep for the chase Mayor Ivonaki Sawyer? Because the special committee wants to stay relevant. This is undone. What happened in August 10th, the lives that were lost, both police officers and that of the citizens that lost their lives, we should investigate to the fullest. The people that killed these civilians, they should answer. Those that killed police officers, we should answer. We don't hear all kinds of stories. We've heard all kinds of stories. But they need to stop harassing these women. They need to stop harassing Mayor Ivonaki Sawyer. Mayor Ivonaki Sawyer made it very clear on AYV. Listen to this.
Let's get to look at the antecedents. For many, there are different factors responsible for what happened August 10. Some are attributing the incident to socioeconomic factors. Some are attributing that to politics. And of course, conspicuously, your name is being mentioned as one of those, fanning the flames, as one of those responsible for what happened August 12. August 10, sorry. Why were you caught up in all of that?
I don't think I was caught up. I think I was put into, not caught up, put into. Samuel, I think you and I were here back in March 2021, where a conversation behind closed doors in an office setting, we've been be about process and not people, being recorded in February of 2021. And then when in March, 6 weeks later, I take a stand and say, no, there's a process issue here about the recruitment of staff. That audio, which had been recorded behind closed doors, not a public statement, was doctored and pushed out for giving impression, say, mayor tribalistic. That was in March 2021. And in that 10 days from now, the person where the name is mentioned over and over again, who was the staff, who was not recruited by council, which was being put into council, contrary to the Local Government Act, when at that I've been the reject, when at that I've been the stand against, we work so closely together. Everything about me life not fit in to the narrative that was being pushed back in March 2021. But I'm not for surprise because this is the same mayor where I don't be the subject of ACC investigation for something where is defined as corruption, and yet that is, make I just be explicit, then nobody not forget, which is the travel expenditure of the MDU team lead, where being recommended by the CA, signed, approved by me, because I know they approved nothing unless they recommended, approved by me, signed by the CA, signed by me, signed by the FO. Whenever you get anti-corruption case in a council, all the vote controller, number one, 9 at the key person.
Right.
Then beyond that, the 3 signatories. In my own case, just me. Everybody else out. And as you know...
Right, but the mayor made it clear that she had nothing to do with the protest. This was a part of interviews them, part 1, part 2, 3, 4, and 5, and all the way through. But Miss Femi Claudius-Cole that we're talking about now, when we go back to where they confused Miss Femi Claudius-Cole for July 4th and that of August 10th, Miss Femi Claudius-Cole was only there when the woman them come and ask for her support. That was when she showed up in the picture because they needed somebody of stature, and she was the only person that was willing to stand by them. Because again, don't forget, members of parliament don't support protests no more. They don't care. They don't want to know. So the people were looking forward to someone else in society that has stature that would be by their side. And Miss Femi Claudius-Cole said, "Oh, I'm not going to refuse my people," and that was what happened. So you guys remember what happened to those women. Every now and again, we have to remind you guys so you guys will see what we're saying. They are confusing July 4th to August 10th. Miss Femi Claudius-Cole had nothing to do with August 10th. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. Even the July 4th protest, that for as far as we know was the most successful protest in Sierra Leone at any point in time. The most successful because the government were exposed. Marabio's government was exposed for who they were. When these women came out to protest peacefully, they were battered and beaten up. The world saw it. The international community see them. Say to the point where the special rapporteur on human rights, Clement Voulay, came out and put out a word about these women. That was the very first time in Sierra Leone's history that they captured what was actually happening. Very peaceful protest. These women were abused. Now listen to this woman's story.
Yes, my rotting Nigeria, yes, sir. In a mind. Don't tell me that India so. Because I think one mama. I have one mama. Who are that? No, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, you're spoiled. Nobody knows what you're doing. Nobody knows what you're doing. I get 10 to them. The man don't die. Then I 6 years. When the man don't die. When the man don't die, like 6 years this. I dey suffer. Yeah, they suffer. Now God make that upon them. When the TOT is well for me, if all thing there, it's not your one problem. Why did they try to kill the honor? You are not know see, they cannot see. Say yes, sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This was how they abused women. Listen to her and talk to them. The woman, they will come out to protest July 5th or July 4th. That was the most successful protest ever. Look how they treat that woman day. Look how they talk to that woman day. Then they kill them. And imagine what they've done to them people and they will protest that country day. That is why we say again, leave Miss Femi Claudius-Cole alone. Leave Mayor Sawyer alone. Focus on the people that organized the protest. They're not hiding. They said, we organized the protest. Go after them. If you have evidences to substantiate the fact that these people organized protests, go after them. If you get text messages, you get letters, you get videos, you get, whatever you have is the basis for you to even invite these people to this special investigating committee of the August 10th. Like, we all want answers. I want answers. People did not deserve to die. Yes, I did not support that protest. We're all against that protest. It was going to disrupt things. Yes. And then use them effectively against our people. We saw it. It happened in our country. That was why we not be one time, because it was not timely. But again, it is a constitutional right of citizens to protest. Their rights should be protected regardless of the time, if the time is material, if the time is not important. Regardless, when citizens protest, it is enshrined in the Constitution. Section 26, subsection 1 makes it very clear that every citizen has the protections to their freedoms of assembly and association. It is their rights to protest. Therefore, nobody not for take their rights away from them. It is very clear. It is a sacrosanct fact. And I can show you guys this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This is the Constitution, for God's sake. It is very clear now. Section 26, subsection 1. Except with his own consent, no person shall be hindered in the enjoyment of his freedom of assembly and association. That is to say, his rights to assemble freely and associate with other persons, and in particular to form or belong to any political party, trade unions, or other economic, social, or professional associations, national or international, for the protection of his interest. That is the Constitution speaking. That is not me talking, right? So it is the rights of the citizens to protest. Regardless if you don't like it, I don't care what you say, what they do, they have a right to protest. But let's see. Let's take a look at something here, because I want you guys to see this. These were some of, the dastardly things that happened. Matter of fact, listen to Mayor Sawyer when she denounced this protest. Listen to this again. Actually, I take that back. That's not what I really want to show. Let me show you this video of these women. Pressure from the international community. After the pressure from the international community. First of all, even then, it was very unprofessional of that police officer to take that hijab off that lady's head just for touching them alone. It's not good. Look at what they did to her.
Oh, I do so now. You do so now.
I want you guys to see this. This is how they treated those female. So they are mixing up things now with July 4th protest to that of what happened August 10th. Leave Miss Femi Claudius-Cole alone. She had nothing to do with it. Nothing, absolutely nothing to do with it. And again, like I said, those protesters August 10th, that is what this investigating committee should be looked at, how the judiciary is handling those matters. Because then the jail, when I watch this, let's watch this together. I'm going to go back. I'm going to pause this and I'm going to read it on the screen here. Watch this. Resident Magistrate of Bombali District, Magistrate Mustafa Brahima, has remanded 8 persons before the court of unlawful assembly. The accused persons conspired together with the unknown persons committed crime. That day, of course, they don't go to jail. Let's continue. Now, this other one. August 10 riot. Magistrate Adiru Dabo of Ross Road Court number 3 has today refused bail and further indicated the need for expeditious trial. 3 adjournments in a week. The statement came after closure of the prosecution's case. The defense to open their case on Wednesday, 5/10/2022. Let's follow this. I'm just giving you guys a timeline of the judiciary, their Twitter page, how they've been jailing the August 10 protesters. I want you to see that. August 10 riot, Principal Magistrate Mark Igeba has sentenced Santos Conte to 2 years imprisonment for indecent exposure, contrary to Section 14 of the Sexual Offences Act No. 12 of 2012. Santos is among 20 accused persons brought before the court for various offences. I think this was that lady that protested naked. So watch this. These are, pointing all these things out to you, so you see how the judiciary has been handling these incidences since August 10 protest. Again, another one, right, is Worship Magistrate Adiru Dabo of Court Number 3, Ross Road in Freetown, has sentenced accused Alimami Conte to 4 years and 11 months in prison, standing trial, conspiracy, larceny, contrary, blah, 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 all of that. But these are just a timeline of everything that I've been documenting to keep, for when that time is right, so we can share with you guys. But this is how they've been locking up these folks. Again, August 10th file with run for judgment on 11th October 2022. His Worship Magistrate Adiru Dabo of Ross Road Number 3 has reserved for judgment immediately, after both sides of the prosecution and defense close their case. Follow us on da. Let's see. And then the next one comes back up. Magistrate H. Dabo of Ross Road Court Number 3 sentenced Prince Abu Ture to 4 years, 11 months, falsely collecting, blah, blah. But these are just timelines, right? All of these. And I'm showing you guys this because, again, it goes back to Miss Femi Claudius-Cole. What are we saying here? This lady had nothing to do with the August 10 protest. Leave her alone. Nothing. The mayor. Everybody. They had nothing to do with it. Let's come back now. Let's start where we are.
But I will forever stand by the women of Sierra Leone at all times. Now that I'm supposed to do. If me say me na woman leader, I for support the woman there. I for listen to their struggles and states. I don't believe say crime daily. And when they mix up August 3, when they arrest me with August 10, it is obvious say they look me tweet, but they not either. They look the film where they make poster them, but they not look at. They merely pass their eye panel, conclude what they want conclude, and run with them. It's wrong. If you know they can't call person, then the other one, they say, for let me give me opinion. I say, when I call me out for my opinion, they say as political leader, if protest they be, waiting a meal advice for give the government. For let them kind thing not happen back. I say, if you want to know what's go inside the minds of the protesters that day, I say, first of all, let me get this clear. I think to say it's very wrong and it's very sad to say people have lost their life. It's very, very sad. I don't get for support no violent act. Me na Congra, I get picking them, I get cousin them, I get nieces them, I get nephews them. I don't get for support no violence. I don't get for condone loss of life of any human being. At worst case scenario, me na us. The oath way I take now for protect and for heal people, then not for kill. So I don't approve, I don't go ever sanctify, support, or endorse any kind of action like that. I make it very clear. They ask me, say, as unity party, if unity party can have power, now I say, I'm a manifesto now. I don't care for carrying me manifesto to now. Well, waiting them want for let me, we can tell them for let them know how to prevent such a thing. Now I say, if una want know how to prevent this, una say una don't talk to Minister of Trade. I say na good person now there, I say na fine place now there for begin. I say because me now I know they buy cow foot by foot again, now I buy inches, now they buy cow foot. I say so that it do for more than many people already for go put pots in a fire. So Minister of Trade, na find place for let them begin. I say then if you want know the minds of them one day way cause they act, I say not to bad. Let's say I say na back talk they give them. No, not to back talk. I say una get that, yeah, this commission now, una get lawyer, una get women's forum leader, una get ex-policeman, una get ex-soldier man. I go advise. Say una call psychiatrist, una call back psychologist, una call back sociologist. Let them come now. If una really want to engage for let we do a prevention. Then we sit down together with Minister of Trade, Minister of Finance, Bank Governor. Bank Governor. Say we all can sit down. How will they prevent this from happening? see me, una don't interrogate me. They're only
Absolutely. She's making a very powerful point there, guys. Why should they keep bothering these women? When they might not get nothing to do with anything. Absolutely nothing to do with anything with the August 10 protest. Matter of fact, what we're going to be doing now is giving them evidences of people that they should call. How about this? Why don't they call this guy who do this video?
I think una say una want come on now on the street le una can see wetin get for happen to una. This thing where they happen now, so I don't pass mark. This country now we all get them. Salona we all get them. Now until una say una want come on, una want pull mother bill, we na vote them be vote for. Una kale una can see wetin get for happen to una, yeah. Una kale una can see wetin get for happen to una. Then why are ready for kill anybody we ready for go against this country peace? Una see there? Una see there? Una see how the streets done there? So una come on and street say una go take mother, una go pull mother bill una power. Una come on una see something. Una come on una see something. Anybody that kill, that's not the point. You say they come on, you go pull mother bill, we not to vote you and vote for pulling. Then na isa be waiting to go fair, na isa be waiting for meet you. Yeah, the security ready for make sure say then protect the peace and protect every citizen where you know law-abiding citizen. But you say you go against the peace of this nation, you go see what thing for happen to you. We didn't street life. So if you say you want to go pull mother bill, we not to you know wait by the voting. Then he left to you now. Come on, go play go pull mother bill. Come on, go pull mother bill. Let's see what thing for happen to you. 2018, I vote them, we vote for her. We win. Just like our next we win, una give our next chance, our next rule. So if you know say people that don't vote for president, you say they go pull and we not to by voting, then see no more waiting here for happen to you. Come on, do. If you know say you want lost your life, let them go bury you now. Come on, do. Come on, do. This thing don't pass mark. Now the soldier man they set up already now. Yes.
So how about the committee called this particular guy? The video is tagged properly. Say General Kaloko. Is the investigating committee going to call these people for go and talk about, because citizens lost their lives. And these guys were telling us that the military is ready to shoot and kill people. The same with Alpha Saidu Bangura, who works for the state. These people called. Again, this is what Alpha Saidu said.
Government don't declare coffee order. From today, Wednesday, August 10, 2022, 3 p.m., 3 o'clock afternoon, all man for day inside house UABB. If police or soldier catch you in a treat from 3 o'clock this afternoon, say government go tell you who stay for come out back, then go shoot you with them no go dey per that. Until the next time we go come back to una, this Alpha Saidu Bangura they say.
Are they going to call Alpha Saidu Bangura? These are the people that actually told us the military is ready to shoot and kill people for protesting. Are they going to call them? Let them leave Mayor Ivonaki Sawyer. Let them leave Miss Femi Claudius-Cole alone. How about this? How about the military? The ones that actually dancing.
Yes, sir.
The military that were dancing. Because these guys actually protected. Look at the citizens that lost their lives. Look at the citizens How about calling these military guys? They were dancing. In America, when they open up special councils, they open up these special councils, set up these special councils because they already have evidences of the people that they want to investigate. But you have no basis to investigate. If I had nothing to do with the January 6th protest in America, why would you call me into the committee? Would the committee call me? No, they only called people that had something to do with organizing the protest in America, January 6th. Because they already have the evidence. It is not when they show up at the investigative committee, that is not when the evidence is produced. No, they already have the evidence to invite these people. All the organizers of the January 6th insurrection in America, they had the text messages and everything. They put it all together and they start calling them. Come tell us about this text message that you sent out to tell the president, what did you do at this time? That you have the evidence. That's how you set up special committees. Are they going to investigate these soldiers? Are they going to investigate them? Are they still in the force? They were dancing on that day because they were ready to go and kill people. And you see this tribalism that we talk about in the nation? Listen to the kind of songs they play.
I'll be getting vote. That means we can't be bluffing. Phone you saying I don't go. When you find clean,
Are they going to call them?
We want to know what happened.
Listen to this message from Mayor Yvonne Akisoya. Listen to this message.
Mina Yvonne Akisoya, Mayor of Freetown. 2 weeks ago, from the 25th of July to the 31st of July, the Steering Committee of Religious Leaders been called a week of prayer and fasting, then call we all, Muslims as well as Christians, for let we pray together for peace in our nation. Then do this because peace in any nation very important. I've been support that move they wholeheartedly, and I work with them behind the scenes for make that week of prayer and fasting happen. Day like today, the importance of peace nor can be overstated, because today in our city, Talek say with peace don't be completely shattered. May hearts go out to all the one that we don't lost in life, to the one that we don't lost in loved ones, to the one that we in a hospital or injured, the one that we in detention, the one that we don't lost property, right across the city, members of the general public, as well as members of the security sector. We all na brother and sister, and we pain day, the pain na all man the feeling. I believe fully in peace, and I always stand against violence. I don't ever support violence, because I know say na peace now we need for make we able for go before. So day like today, like everybody else, I hear the frustrations them na social media of young people, of other people, and not to just Mina Yvonne Akisoya, Mayor of Freetown. 2 weeks ago, from the 25th of July.
So guys, you've listened to this. This is the mayor appealing to Sierra Leoneans.
Religious leaders been called
appealing to Sierra Leoneans. Of course, this was when they released those women, them July 4th. She was there in solidarity with them. Now the picture is the woman they would be arrested. We didn't lock them up. These are some of the photos of the mayor supporting those women. The whole world rallied behind those women. That was it. They had nothing to do with August 10 protest. Because anybody in the right senses will know that you should not have anything to do with the August 10 protest, because you heard the language, you read the language, you hear what people they talk about. And all that. So anybody in the right senses not going to mix for August 10 protest. And that was what people like Mayor Yvonne Akisoya and Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole had nothing to do with the protest. Had nothing to do with the protest. Leave them alone. Stop harassing these women. Stop harassing them. We have to speak the facts. So when I saw this video from Ms. Femi Claudius-Cole, it bothered me that they keep going after this woman after all the harassment that she has faced. Lock them up how they want. Taking advantage of her all the time. They've taken advantage of all of these women. And they keep taking advantage of them. This is the mayor standing in solidarity with these women that were locked up. No, she did not commit a crime when she stood with the July 4th. These were the women that were locked up July 4th and 5th when they released them. They all wore black, protested very peacefully. These women protested peacefully, but they were beaten up. We saw it. We saw it. So enough is enough. That is the point we're making here. Leave these people alone. Leave them alone. Go after the people that organized the protest. Go after the people that you know they organized the protest. Like I said again, the video is there to the evidence. The government should do what they're doing. And maybe the people that organized the protest should be bold enough to say, you know what, I'm going to go face this government. I'm going back home to Sierra Leone. Let me go face these guys because I'm not a coward. Let me go face these guys and hold up to my responsibility. I've already said it. I organized this protest. Let me go back home now and defend my stance. Or the government should know what to do to bring the people to book that actually organize the protest. Simple. But leave these innocent women alone. Leave Mayor Ivona Sawyer alone. Leave Miss Femi Claudius-Cole alone. Leave them alone. Enough is enough. I don't even want to show some of the videos because it's very dangerous, the August 10th, what they did. Huh? The amount of guys that lost their lives, young boys that lost their lives. I don't even want to go all that. I don't want to show all of that. Yeah? I don't want to show all of that.
Live bullet show.
Look at these kids.
I mean, I'm When I see people are on a rushing. I'm Mandish. These are don't killer. These are don't killer and they don't killer. I like bullet. Yeah, look at it too. Not a two. When I see all from there. Hey! When I look up. I like bullets, so. I like bullets, they fire, so live bullets. Live bullets, let them fire. Live bullets. Live bullets, so.
So the mayor was on record denouncing that whole thing, that she had nothing to do with any protest.
Especially Fritonians understand the current state of affairs and support in the drive to achieving economic, stability.
So one thing very important, it comes back to this question of what is said, okay? I don't be in the unfortunate situation, right. Much to me shock and dismay for actually, just imagine, Samuel, waiting person to do on social media, it just take one Christmas for let go do in physical, you know, right? So if, again, I come back to this thing about women in leadership, women in politics, if we are saying we want to encourage women in politics, then if you have a view, and I don't tell you say you view wrong, because for you to say that waiting at talk in 2021, we don't be explained, and we all me life and everything what they do, and all the and relationships that we get, and the working atmosphere na me institution not align with that narrative day. If you continue for peddling, then you make people them way not know me one day, not ever meet me, then they grow for hate me, then they write thing them na social media. Then one day, like on Wednesday, people then go na council, then go na the Met office, then they cost me mama, you know, then they threaten for burn the place on Thursday. That's why I called the chief administrator, say, hey, see, I beg, talk to them guiding out, because it'd be terrible for let we get a fire in a council. So you see how social media conversations can lead to the physical action. So just imagine, say that they happened to me, where you go say, well, she's an elected official, she's got some level of protection. Just imagine what's going to happen at community level. We say, person not get that protection. So the whole thing has to be a deliberate exercise. I've been listening to Alpha Kanjis and Valnora. And one of the things that we didn't talk in 98.1 is again this point, the same point what they make. There has to be a conscious effort for a situation where, and I wrote that in my piece on the first day. I say we need for de-escalate. If tension don't be, yes, Samuel, you don't talk, say there are challenges. The challenges, they're real. But you know what? Facts, not the answer that question day.
Right.
Now make we day in waiting and call a democracy. Waiting a democracy. Democracy, Latif, little bit from Dr. Injai, Alaji. Because myself do government, really. I just want to reference him because he spoke so well. Ahead. But myself, I do government in school, and I do government as part of my economics, my first degree in economics. He talked about democracy being the demo, the people. You know, it's government of the people, by the people, for the people.
Right.
Let me break down and lay down. What does that really mean? That means to say, that man at the corner shop, that woman na market, that youth man na car wash, you know, whoever and wherever you be, the government, na you, the pick 'em, na you, then they work for, na you, then they represent. Now that's not democracy. Then we get another added layer, we call them multi-party democracy.
Right.
That means to say, not to one party na aim una dey get this choice. You get choice. You get multiple party them. And you as the individual, when you don't pick person for let it work for you, you get forget that time when a mandate. But at the end of a mandate, you get an opportunity for look back and say, this one I've been take. I'm not too satisfied. Now that happened in 2018. There was a mandate where APC been get. The people then say, no, we're not satisfied. This trip, we vote other person in. And that's what they did. But every 5 years, na cycle.
Right.
So when it comes to waiting for tell people, now for tell them say, democracy, multi-party democracy gives you the power, gives you the choice.
Absolutely.
And we, when I say we, any government where they in governance get a responsibility for honor that choice.
Yep.
But the people themselves get responsibility for not be violent. Hearing the question of protest, I read the letter, not the letter, the speech of the EU ambassador where he gave on Friday, na the youth event. And he writes say, him being part of a protest when he had been student, because they may want to introduce student fees in a university will not be ever happened before.
Right.
He said the police then guard them, and the protest went on fine, and the government been changed their mind. So the question now, and again, let us say emphatically, without any caveat, completely jara. I don't know how for put again for let you be very clear. Say I not get no hands whatsoever in the organization of that protest day. Waiting people then seen on social media. Now me self me not even listen audio. If person send audio to me, you know then voice note. If person is send, I can text them back. Please text. I can't download. Why? I don't get patience. Even if you want to give me message, Samuel, writer, because that's in I scan and quick. When I audio, you get for sit down and listen.
Right.
I don't get patience. So I know me not supposed to really listen audios. But what I can say is, coming back to your point,
Yes.
waiting for tell people then for no.
Guys, I think it's very clear from the mayor. She had nothing to do with that protest. These guys have no evidences to bring forth against these ladies. Leave them alone. Stop tormenting them. Stop disturbing them. Go after the people that actually organized the protest. And like we heard from this, the Minister of Information and that of David Francis, then say that they work on what they're working on. Let them keep working on what they're working on. Again, at the same time, we know the people that organize the protest, they come out boldly and clearly and say, we organize the protest. So it's their responsibility. Either they come out voluntarily to go attend this special committee, their investigations, or the government do what they have to do to bring the people that organize the protest. Again, a protest is a democratic right. I see no problem with that. But at the end of the day, people lost their lives. And therefore, we want to get to the bottom of why did police lose their lives? Why did citizens lose their life? They don't deserve to die the way they died. And at the end of the day, we need answers. So it's very important. And we are supportive of an investigation. And I'm down for that investigation. But please stop calling the wrong people. Stop accusing the wrong people. Because like I said earlier on when I started the live, these guys, what they're trying to do again is to blaspheme the names of these ladies, destroy their character, impugn them with a crime already, find them guilty when they're not even that. And they want to make the people of Sierra Leone look at them as these were the people that organized the protest. And they did not organize the protest. And even if they did, it was not a crime. But yes, at the end of the day, the people that organized the protest, they've made it very clear, sacrosanctly, that they organized the protest. Therefore, it's on the government to stop disturbing other citizens that had nothing to do with the protest. Go after the actual organizers of the protest so we're going to have some answers. Because we need answers. Elections is 5 months down the road. SLPP is about to go anyways, so we might never be able to have answers. Because I don't know if the APC government coming would have time for that, right? I don't know if the APC government coming would open up an investigation into the August 10th protest. I would strongly recommend they do. But at the end of the day, SLPP has 5 months left. How much work would they be able to get done with this investigating committee? But they are wasting time going against people like Mayor Sawyer. They are wasting the time going against people like Femi Claudius-Cole because there is nothing there. And in as much as they have to stay relevant, but at the end of the day, stop going after the wrong people. That is all we're saying. Stop disturbing them. Because I really don't want to get any, talk about the August 10 protest as much anymore, because my concern only is for the people that are being locked up. I'm really concerned about those people because they're being locked up for protesting. God knows what they're what they're going through, how they are being tortured. Now, a few of them are dying. And if some of these people don't even die in jail, they will die once they get home because they'll torture you to a certain point. It's just psychologically you've done. Psychologically, emotionally, you're finished. And with the pains that you would, they levy on you, all them pain and the psychological trauma, the emotional trauma. Some of these people, when they make them sleep, then they electrocute them, then they beat them. They say, no, I can't protest, and I can't pull with government of power. This is what they do to them in these prison systems across the country. So I'm concerned about those people because they shouldn't be there. But the organizers of the August 10 protest, they've come up boldly, clearly. They stand up. They say, we are the ones. So it's two things. Either then come and go and attend this investigative committee, or the government go and make sure say then gets 10 people away for come and can answer the organizers of the protest. Period. Simple. But for me, as far as I'm concerned, leave the citizens alone. Leave the people alone that protested for their rights. They had social issues. They had things that were disturbing them. They did not burn any government building. I'm sure a lot of these people will not go no side for go burn State House, Parliament, all of that stuff. Even that, it would have been a different level of atrocity, right? We saw what happened in America, like I always say again. But these people protested. Why would you want to go against the rights of these people? Now they don't lock them up. I'm concerned. There is no lawyers fighting for these people. Nobody is standing up for them because everybody's afraid. Because anybody who can team up for them, they say, oh, now we organize the August 10 protest. Whilst the organizers are not doing anything to protect these people. But now nobody in Sierra Leone, no lawyer wants to take up their matter. Lawyer Lansana Doumbouya was the only lawyer who was doing it. And Lawyer Lansana Doumbouya is contesting for the Secretary General of the APC as a party anyways. So all of these people, they are there on their own now. They're not left into themselves. Now by God in power, some anger for survive. Would I go see the 2023 elections again? So the next government will go pull them apart, them by road and police stations them. But these people are on their own. That is my concern. And whilst the investigative committee is going after Femi Claudius-Cole and going after Mayor Sawyer, these people are languishing in jail. So go after the organizers for all I care. But leave the mayor alone. Leave Miss Femi Claudius-Cole alone. They did nothing to you guys. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. And with that, I would end this live with this video. The government should continue to pursue this direction that they are going because that is the accurate direction. That is what they need to do. And like we said again, these people are not cowards. The organizers of the protest, that's what people are afraid. Not to coward them. They're not afraid of the government. They've said clearly, we organize the protest. So it's up to the government to negotiate with these people to come to Sierra Leone, go face this committee and get an investigation going and leave these innocent women alone. Leave Miss Femi Claudius-Cole alone. Leave Miss Mayor Sawyer alone. And I release those people that are being locked up across prisons in the country for protesting. These are innocent Sierra Leoneans. They've killed enough of them already. Police lost their lives. May all of the souls of those families that lost their loved ones rest in peace. And that was why people like myself said, we are against this protest. But of course, I wish we had said something to stop that protest because it was going to interfere with our registration process. And it did. A lot of my brothers and sisters, they run away, go Guinea, Liberia. They run away. Some man go to East and go hide. They didn't for register because they put their face, they say they are wanted. We saw it. We saw the ECOWAS parliament, the speaker of the ECOWAS parliament say these people had machetes and guns and this and that. We saw that. Who's I end up? We see now in Nigeria, we don't die for over 10 years. In Nigeria, we don't die for over 10 years. Now in picture, now they pass with. Look at her. When I remember all of this, they put people's names on posters. Wanted, wanted, wanted. So people are afraid for go if you go register. It affected us. Not talking about the 18 years of age picking them that were supposed to register, where they did not register those ones. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that were scared of coming out because they could not even go back home to register. Because they were looking for them. They were pointing them out. Say, this night in the protest. When in Canada, they host them. Say, this night in protest. This night in protest. Look at the Nigerian guy where they go put. Mao, we don't die. I must see how he go. They put his name. This guy has been dead for years. And they go put. So these are the things we're saying, guys. So they have to leave Miss Femi Claudius-Cole alone. We want the investigative committee to do their work, but you leave the wrong people. Leave the wrong people alone. Don't mix up the July 4th and the August 10th. Miss Femi Claudius-Cole had nothing. None of you guys saw, her, with posters in her house. No, July 4th, those women that came to our house, yes, those were the ones that came to protest. They come and make, flyers and all that stuff. They came to our house. These are the women, July 4th. This is July 4th. They came to her house and they not denied that they. They came to her office. They're not denying that. She's not denying the fact. July 4th, that was a successful protest. The women came, they wanted somebody to guide them, and Miss Femi Claudius-Cole provided leadership for them. But she had nothing to do with the organization. She only supported them because they needed somebody to stand up for them. And she supported them because they're citizens, protected by the Constitution. Section 26 makes it very clear. That's what she did. So leave her alone. She had nothing to do with August 10th protest. Again, the investigative committee, you can only invite people to that committee if you have evidences to substantiate the fact that they were involved. Leave her alone. Bye-bye, everybody. I'm going to leave it right here. And I'm going to let you guys listen to Miss Femi Claudius-Cole the whole way through. And then we'll take it in the live with everybody. Okay? Let's take it from where she started.
So Minister of Trade, na find place for let them begin.
Bye-bye again.
I said, then, if you want to know the minds of them one day, because they act, I said, not to bad. Then say, I said, na back talk, they give them. No, not to back talk. I said, una get that, yeah, this commission now, una get lawyer, una get women's forum leader, una get ex-policeman, una get ex-soldier man. I go advise, say, una call psychiatrist, una call back psychologist, una call back sociologist. Let them come now. If we really want to engage for them, do a prevention. Then we sit down together with Minister of Trade, Minister of Finance, Bank Governor. Bank Governor. So that we all can sit down. How will they prevent this from happening? I say me, una don't interrogate me. They only na CID 5 days. They interrogate me now almost day safe. I say so. Then when they talk now, then they vex. They feel to say, me they make power pande, or not to power. Me they make, me they condescend, I'm condescending, they make attitude pande. Hey, but you can't call me and they ask me, say, why I organize. I don't organize nothing. I mean, not to the kind woman, when they can't put word 9 months. No. So if una really want for prevent, as soon as the incidents be, una go na attire places, una go talk to them. Go na the marketplaces, go talk to them. Go na ports, go talk to them. Go na the slums, go talk to them. You not get for big crowd. 1 or 2, una go begin listening to the voice of the people. And one person ask me, what's in my grievance? I say, grievance? Grievance na baby word o. Grievance not to a person keep you man or person. I don't get grievance. Grievance. A grievance. Now I change. I say what's in my concern. Now I say, then I get a good concern. The fact that I buy cow food by inches instead of by food, I get concerned. If me in meal status I they complain, I they cry, I they buy beef 55,000 for £1 steak, eat 45,000 for £1 beef and bone, I get concerned. I get concerned. And if I get concerned for me, where I they drive motor car, I tap na fine house, and they talk of the one that they say they're not in a fine house. So I get concerned. Yes. Then they ask me back. Now I say, you know what thing I'm concerned? If you want to know me concerned, I say me concerned for let get free, fair, and credible election come June 24. That's now that concern. But and I look and now say, when I make this commission for find out. I wonder. They say they don't go plan, they don't wear, that. But they don't talk to grassroots. Me na get anyone. They don't talk to the people on the ground. Then they bring back August 3, they mix up, box up August 3. Say, this lady come meet me and me tell me for stop the protest. Now say you been there at the conversation. I feel like you not been there at the conversation. Because the way you talk and the way Ingo talk and 98.1 was a mix up, box up. Was a mix up, box up. Then when they ask me now, he asked me, talk. Then look to me for answer. And I say, I don't get the question. Then the question. I say, I don't get her. The question when you really and truly want to ask me. Because even women's forum, he put press release in there against. When you put press release, you go meet the woman, then you talk to them as women's forum. When are you the head? All woman organization. Then when they arrest you, when they go meet them, you talk to them, you preach to them, say this is not the right thing for you. You go there. You no go there. You go to the slum community. What with gang? You want? Say, but one can ask, how this happen? What was the first thing that day? Before that, when I called Femi Claudius-Cole for Camp Ward Panel. If them be arrest me, yes, they arrest me. Yes, they interrogate me. Yes, they search me house. Yes, they search me office. July 3rd. July 3rd. They ask me, how can we help? If even say, we want to know how we they make this one happen back. Maybe get a proper engagement where na town hall, we they call people in small groups, we talk to them. We begin to talk to them. Call the woman, then talk to them, they not to them. They don't do that. They say that and pick people away their name come up. I'm an advocate for the woman then. I am. And they support her, they feel their pain because me self get the same pain. And if me they feel them half, then they feel them half times 10. That is it. That is it. So for now una call me, then una they vex now where una they ask me questions and they tell una want for that can begin narrate from Genesis to what's in the last book like the Bible, Revelation. Any place now? Any place? Any place? A good place to start. Now for talk to the grassroots people themselves. I wonder if the woman where they lead, the woman they in another panel day. Then take the time and talk. We say, "Una don't go na then jail, but don't go talk to the woman there. Where they arrest. Don't go here give back. What to motivate you now? Why? That's a good place to start. That's a very good place to start. And when you na call person for interview, when una don't already make up una mind, waiting una no say na the answer, me know they work from the sum to the answer, from the answer to the sum. Are you calling me for my opinion? Not so that's the letter say. For help them with the investigation. You didn't, you not rightly ask me for the way forward. That's a different conversation. And you're not going to put me one grade. Let me put sociologists. I'm not being facetious. Let me get psychiatrists. Let me get sociologists. Let me bring them all together. Then they quote back Constitution. Well, you ain't a chairman, you're a lawyer. And the Constitution is not written in Latin. It is written in English. So then don't reach for let them translate the Constitution into Creole. I want to make that suggestion. So I saw you if they don't like the attitude where I can go to them. Now by the introduction where they make to me. The way a man how they introduce all things to me. Now it make me back go up. And if I want for them, we can engage for find a way forward. What's that letter? They the right thing. Also for help with your investigation. Where is the police in investigating? Where is the police? They asked me what's in my involvement with APA and COP. I say I don't get business to APA. I am the chairperson of the Consortium of Progressive Political Parties. I am. And I did that question later. So I don't really understand waiting exactly where you go say, even me, women's leader go with me. SecGen go with me, they say that for the NADO. A society, you know. It was even when them say for let me lawyer can you sign. But he accepts say let me lawyer there. But if you want to get the way forward, 1:10 or 1:12, I don't remember the almost the beginning. A ratio for dialogue. Is that dialogue? That's interrogation. That is an interrogation. That is not dialogue. That is not finding the way forward. I am sorry if I am well read. I am sorry if I am educated. But I know if it is a dog and it wags its tail and it has 2 heads and it barks, it's a dog. I am sorry. If una want for really get the way forward, una know waiting for. Una know how una they get that way together. Not una they line up like when they put fire in squad. That means you don't have before now. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? This is not a court. Oh, excuse me. It sure feels like it. This is not a criminal investigation. Eh? And then you're coming out straight off the bat with an accusation. You organize your Twitter page for future advice to the commission. Una else una they call if una want quote in Twitter, and I will tweet, and I will continue to tweet because what I tweet is the truth. What I tweet is the truth, and because I speak truth to power, and I will continue to tweet, and I will continue to speak the truth as I see it. I don't insult. I am not rude. I simply speak the truth as I see it, which I believe is my right. I believe there is such a thing as freedom of speech. I am not inciting anybody. I know they can't clap or go to anybody. But I speak the truth as I see it. So, I want to say on record that the way and manner in which the chairman even opened up, I wasn't pleased. It was threats and it was innuendo. No mother, no woman would be happy to see the loss of life or the loss of property that we saw on that day. It was wrong on all fronts. And when we're going to have a real engagement, a real dialogue, where we bring people of all walks of life together, I am more than happy to participate. Not an interrogation, but a dialogue. I am very happy to participate. So, for the one the way they watch, now so we pass. Now so we pass. I will keep on posted on the way forward, if there is a way forward. Thank you. Everybody,
this morning.
Well, I would say it's a...
Mr. President, thank you very much for having us this morning. How has your day been so far?
Well, today's better. At least we don't have a very wet.
Guys, I want you all to watch this interview of President Bio. This is very recent. This is VOA again, Peter Clotty. Listen to it in full, in totality. I know I said I was going to end the live, but I want you guys to see this. I'm going to air this for you all to see and listen. Listen attentively to how this guy is talking. And then reflect on what I said about the live. And by the way, guys, share the live. Everybody share, share, share. It helps other people to get the information so they can learn. But share the live, endeavor to share the live so that we can take it from there. But I really want to show you guys this interview. Listen attentively. You see, because the reason is this. Marabio was very deliberate when he was in opposition. He knew what he was doing for him to take over power. This same Peter Clotty guy has been interviewing Marabio for the very longest time, right? President Bio was very, very deliberate. This guy wanted power, and he did everything he could to ensure. But the man was talking tough. Then when I look at these guys when they come up for the APC, they want to be president. None of these guys can even match 5% of voting President Bio did. I mean, minus Dr. Samura Kamara. But none of these other guys could match 5% of his actions in opposition. So if anything, this man was very, very deliberate. It was intent. He had a focus and his mind was set, and he used the international community very effectively. So when you listen to prior interviews, that is what you get from him. So again, like I was saying, Marabio, when you listen to his interviews before, 2017, around those times, 2017, 2018, before the elections, it was very, very, you would know that this man was serious and he wanted power. You would know this man, it was like this was the last line for him. And after this, there was nothing else. His hopes would be broken off completely. So he had a vision, he had a mindset. And that was President Bio for you. And that is why when I look at these guys in opposition, like I'm saying again, a lot of these guys, listen, I want you guys to listen to this interview. I've played it a couple of times, but I want you guys to listen to this. This was Marabi in opposition, and I'm going to let this play. This is a very long one. But like I said again, go ahead and share the live, right? I'm going to let this play. Listen to him then before president and listen to him after. Because I want these guys that are contesting for presidency in Sierra Leone to understand and learn from him. If you cannot learn anything, not learn the wickedness, the human rights abuse and all of that, but learn his approach to the international community. He's focused. His goal is to appease the international community. He does not care about what is happening on the ground, but watch how he fights internationally. Watch this live. Watch this interview. This was 2017. Watch this interview.
The presidential candidate for the largest opposition party, Sierra Leone's People's Party. He was the country's military head of state in 1996. Bio spoke to viewers Peter Clote about his vision for the nation and his confidence in the Electoral Commission to deliver a free, fair and credible election.
We have worked very closely with this particular commission, and it is their responsibility to make sure that we deliver a clean election. So far, we've worked fairly well. We've had some concerns about some critical issues, and they've addressed some of those. Some of them, they still have not been addressed. But in terms of relationship and dialogue, this particular commission, unlike the one in 2012 when I contested for the leadership of this country, is much better. We have told them that we want a transparent, free and fair election. It is left with them now, and we've been working with them, so I'm sure they will keep to their promise of delivering on their key constitutional mandate.
The IGP, the Inspector General of Police, came up with what some of your supporters are calling a unilateral vehicular ban during the election period. What is your take?
We are against it. But at the same time that they've decided to do this, we are fully aware of the fact that all government departments have applied for the passes that will give them the freedom to move about. And we know there's bad faith behind this particular decision. As the oldest party, the party who brought democracy, the party that brought peace, we have said vehicles have nothing to do with violence in this particular instance. As a matter of fact, people are going to need to move even within their own precincts to be able to vote.
So, going through the city of Freetown, a lot of people have expressed concern about politically related election violence. How do you communicate with your supporters and encourage other supporters who might not?
Hi guys, you've watched this live. It's on my page, by the way, if you want to watch the whole thing. But listen to this recent interview now of Marabio at VOA. Listen to this. This is beautiful.
Thank you very much for having us this morning. How has your day been so far?
Well, today's better. At least we don't have a very wet day as yesterday. So, good.
You met President Biden as one of the 6 heads of state from Africa who got a one-on-one meeting with him. How did the meeting go, and what were your takeaways from the meeting?
Well, I would say it's a very constructive meeting because it's basically talking about resetting our relationship between the United States of America and Africa.
There is a lot of history between the two, and there has been a drop in the relationship for a while, and we think this is not good for international relations. It's not good for development, multilateralism, and the many things that we want to do at the highest levels. So we came together to discuss how we can resuscitate this relationship. And of course, there are concerns about what is happening in Africa, especially with regards to security, threats to security, the economic crisis, the resurgence of military coups, etc., and how we can help to deal with these challenges, global challenges.
So you attended the U.S.-Africa Leadership Summit. A lot of bilateral agreements and business deals were done. What was your impression? Were your expectations met? And what are you taking back to Sierra Leone to help the people of Sierra Leone?
Well, I think that's one of the most important things for high-level meetings of this nature, a summit. It is not just what we say in the halls, but what happens in the little rooms around. I had the opportunity again to meet with MCC and to consolidate our relationship with the MCC that is going to spend at least nothing less than 350 million as grant to Sierra Leone. There are a few hiccups with the compact, but of course we amicably went through those, and we are now on the same page. We have met several other groups. I'm just from a meeting with other groups that are interested in Sierra Leone. Of course, they are very mindful of the fact that we go to elections in about 6 months, and a lot of companies are always a little jittery or careful, mindful, of the fact that elections can be quite disruptive. But I've told them that we are going to keep the pace. It's the stability, and because we are paying more attention to development rather than politics, we don't want any slowdown in activities once they concern development. So there are quite a lot of interesting discussions, meetings that I wouldn't say have come to fruition at this point in time, but they are very promising, and I'm happy that I had those meetings.
Mr. President, will Sierra Leone be ready, or is Sierra Leone ready for business, especially investors, those that you spoke with? Are there mechanisms or measures implemented to ensure that when they come in, their business interests and their investments will be protected? And will there be conflict resolution mechanisms? If there's a conflict, it could be resolved amicably?
You're talking about the business environment, the climate. Right. We have worked on that, and we continue to pay keen attention to the business environment. My business is to make sure that I attract some of the most patient investors who will go there to invest for the mutual benefit of our country and also their own corporate entities. We have a few companies already from the US and other parts of the world operating in Sierra Leone, which means that we have a climate that permits the establishment and functioning. So we of course we've had challenges or conflicts, and we are able to resolve them, especially as recent as I think 2 years ago. We had a serious challenge with an American company mining iron ore, and we were able to find a solution. I just saw them as a matter of fact. So which means we are ready. They are going in, they are operating, and where we've had challenges, we found a way out. That is conflicts are part of human relationship, and our business is to make sure that we incorporate into our governance structure mechanisms that can always deal with them as and when they arise. But we are ready. We continue to work on the business climate. We have put very progressive policies in place, and anything that will make us attractive as a destination for foreign direct investment. We do, because that is what caters for the needs of our people best.
Mr. President, a lot of civil society groups and even the First Lady have been expressing concern about gender-based violence. The First Lady has championed the cause of Hands Off Our Girls campaign. I understand there's a bill that is waiting for you to accent to it, to sign, the Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Bill. What entails in this bill? Because when you sign it, it becomes law. What do you want this to achieve? And how would this protect victims of gender-based violence?
What is contained in the bill, it's our goodies for women. It actually lays the foundation for the liberation of our women, to close the gender gap. That is the best way to put it. Of course, it took us a long time as a male society dominantly to accept that. It's been in Parliament for 8 months, but we got it out, and in the form and manner in which we want it. It basically gives 30% of representation in Parliament to women, and in all spheres of governance, even in corporate governance. So it is now incumbent upon us to really see how we can implement that to make sure that we start to close the gender gap. It is the gender gap, closing the gender gap is what this bill is really about. And that is what we have started. Before today, they did not have the chance. Women, we are not considered equal partners in development. And what we are saying is that you cannot say you are serious about development and you lock up more than 50% of your energy in the kitchen or somewhere else and then expect to make progress. For me, like I said, we are a development-oriented government, and therefore all the energy needed is what we want to unleash. And the women power, the component of the women have been missing. So we are giving quite a lot is done. In fact, before that, in Sierra Leone today, because of my own policy in education, all guys doing STEM courses or discipline can actually go to school free from pre-primary to the end of university once you are doing STEM courses. It will interest you to know that they have actually vindicated us, the girls, and they led the transition exam to university this year and in the past couple of years. So guys are leading now. And it is even more interesting to note that most of them actually applied for engineering because the girls, because they know that we are ready to pay for them. So quite a lot is happening in Sierra Leone for women and girls, and this bill is just a part of it. You're talking about protection of women. I had to declare a national emergency on rape, and we have toughened the laws on sexual and gender-based violence. We have even set up special courts to deal with them quickly, as and when there is need for them. And the First Lady has embarked on a national campaign which is ongoing called the Hands Off Our Girls, basically advocating for the girl child, to give them chance to go to school instead of giving their hands in marriage in a very tender age, teenage pregnancy, menstruation hygiene. So she distributes hygiene pads for them. Quite a lot is happening under very difficult circumstances, but I think the driving force has been the level of commitment, genuine commitment to making sure that we actually prepare Sierra Leone for the development it needs so that our people can be part of the 21st century, which means you have to unleash the power of women. And to unleash the power of women in future, you have to prepare the current generation of girls that are going to school.
Mr. President, with a male-dominated society such as Sierra Leone and most African countries, one would expect a little bit of resistance with this law or this policy that you're coming with. How do you plan to surmount it or deal with it? Because obviously it will start from families and then it will get to the national stage. How do you plan to surmount those challenges?
Well, that is natural. No one gives away power very easily. It starts from me as the leader to convince my people that if we mean development, we need to make progress in life. We cannot leave the women folk behind. They are equally intellectually strong if we prepare them, if we empower them, and they are naturally partners in development. And if you are serious about anything, you need a strong partner. So you must prepare by empowering, and also to understand that they are not any inferior in terms of how we consider ourselves, the male, the macho attitude. So gender equality is very much part of us. And to underscore the point you're trying to make, it took 8 months for this bill to go through. So there has been a lot of discussion. But I have also been very consistent to say that we cannot be talking about development and not consider the women as equal partners in this process. And so we have started to get our way, and we are going to continue to use the same tactics, getting our men folk to understand that we have partners who are waiting. They only need to be empowered. They only need to be considered as partners. And we can actually get what we want in Africa: development, progress. And we have the partners in our homes, as our sisters, as our mothers. We only need to give them the space. So which means quite a lot of things: empowering them through education, empowerment through business opportunities, access to financial inclusion. And we have gone even to the extent of talking about what we call radical inclusion. The young girls can easily fall prey to many manipulations, and they can be pregnant before they get out of school. And it has always been a point where they drop out of school and they're not able, and they become liability to society, to themselves, for the rest of their lives because of a singular mistake in their lives, which we all make. We make several mistakes in our lives. But once a girl makes that mistake, it's been like almost a punishment for the rest of her life. We are saying no. Radical inclusion, part of radical inclusion means that girl must be able to come back to school. We'll support her to continue her education. We'll support her to continue her education even after giving birth. And of course, another part of radical inclusion means wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever the state of your body, whether you are disabled, physically, whether you are in the village, whether you are poor, your color, or whatever you look, political persuasion, education is meant for all, and no one should be left behind. So it's difficult, of course, to implement such a policy, but we have worked very hard because of genuine commitment to progress, to put everybody on board. And the men are beginning to understand. They are grudgingly coming around, but they will willingly come around as we get on.
So, Mr. President, let's talk about education, because 22% of your budget is earmarked for education. Some of your critics are saying they are A, unsustainable, and 2, you will not have the resources to target your priority areas, and that it will not last long. Should you win re-election, a new government comes in, they might stop it. So how do you react, or how do you respond to such criticism and concerns that 22% is too much?
Well, it is an existential thing, education, in the 21st century, and looming on the verge of a fourth industrial revolution, which is going to be completely digital, it is even more compelling that you have an educated population. To not do it means you are spelling your own doom. I cannot lead a country that does not take that seriously. I am preparing this country, Sierra Leone, for the future. We have been at the receiving end of the first, second, and third industrial revolutions. The fourth is looming. We cannot be there. We have to be equal participants in that revolution. We cannot be at the receiving end. And the best way is to make sure that everybody is part of the education process. Expensive, yes, expensive, but less expensive than ignorance, than illiteracy in the 21st century. It is even dangerous to talk about that because even for us who claim to be educated, our skills and knowledge are becoming obsolete. We have to upgrade, we have to upskill. Otherwise, the world is moving at such a pace that you should keep upgrading. So, if you want to continue to exist as a nation, it is better to spend now than to spare doom for your country. So, where there is a will, there will always be a way. And that is why I've been pushing very hard. And we are dealing with a crisis already in financing, and we are finding means to do that, to find a way to finance, because it is not a cosmetic move. It is not meant to bring votes. It is meant to, like I said, it's an existential thing. It is meant to keep us going, to make us a productive and useful part of the 21st century. So for me, I'm working very hard to win the election. That is the first thing I'm doing. And Sierra Leoneans are beginning to understand, because the kids themselves that we are catering for education have started to vindicate us by the quality and quantitatively and qualitatively. They are passing the transition exams in huge numbers and passing, at one go, getting all the university requirements. So people are also beginning to buy into this, and it will be a disaster, national disaster, much more than any other natural disaster, to not want to continue. We are going to win the next election.
Talking about the election, Mr. President, some of your critics are saying the political space has been narrowed. The government is using state institutions to suppress them. How do you respond to such criticisms that the political space has been narrowed just so Mr. President will win re-election?
Well, I won the election when it was closed. I have opened it up since I came by several actions, and you can actually relate to those. When we came in, we had in our laws the death penalty. And that has been used notoriously in the past by ruling governments to actually suppress. They dangle it, you can be framed, and it could easily be called treason, and they will lock you up or you lose your life. I have taken that off the law books. Very few people, not even the previous governments who claimed to be democratic, had the audacity to do that. That is one. And that speaks clearly about who I am. Also, the seditious libel law, which kept people like you cowed. So you don't just say what you want to say. You don't ask several questions as you are asking today. In Sierra Leone, journalists are free. There is no journalist in prison for the practice of journalism, except if you do something else. And that has been in our law books also for more than half a century. If you are doing this, are you restricting the space? So what we meant was representative democracy. What I am doing is liberal democracy. I have always led when it comes to democracy in Sierra Leone. I came in 1996, and I said, after nearly 30 years of no election, of authoritarian rule, I conducted the first democratic election, and that has continued up to today. Where I left off was just representative democracy. Now I've brought about liberal democracy, the freedoms that go with that. So we are opening up the space. The parliament is there. It's a hung parliament. We debate issues, and we convince even our strongest opponents to go along with us, like in the gender bill that we just discussed, and we voted that through. So democracy is never easy, but anybody wanting to claim that we are closing that space does so without any tangible reason. But I have so many, So we haven't done anything to restrict, to narrow the space. We have even opened up, and we believe that we are doing good things for our people, and quite a lot, and we can win on that credit.
Mr. President, will you assure the people of Sierra Leone that the Independent National Electoral Commission would administer free, fair, transparent, credible election, that Sierra Leoneans themselves will freely go to the polls and choose who their next leader will be?
That is a given. That body was created first in 1996, and I did it. And it's existed, it has a history of, I wouldn't say checkered, we've had challenges with it, but that is what has been doing our elections. That body has supervised our elections since 1996. Nothing has been done to distort its governance structure, and they have all the free hand to do what they can do so that we can have a free and credible election come June 2024. So I regard democracy in Sierra Leone as my baby. So I will do everything to nourish it. I will not be the one to interfere into the workings of the National Electoral Commission for my political. What I do is work very hard, convince my people that I'm genuinely concerned about their future and their welfare, and that should earn me votes. That's how I've won. I won against a sitting government.
Is the commission well-resourced to carry out its mandate?
That is a problem, because even the government is not well-resourced to run under the circumstances. But what we have done, and we are appealing to partners, that you just can't sit and say, no, democracy. Democracy is quite expensive. I mean, putting everything together to make sure that we have a credible election means financial input, technical input. So we also are asking for financial support, technical support, to make sure that the body is not found wanting in terms of those areas. But we have provided everything that we possibly can, financial resources, to make sure they get the basics. So far, it's working.
Before we go, Mr. President, recently there was a protest. Several police officers were killed. Some government offices were burnt down, attacked. But some of your critics are saying that your government used this protest as a pretext to clamp down on the opposition, to intimidate and harass them, arrest some people as a means so you will win re-election. I'm sure you've heard some of these criticisms. What's your response to that?
Baseless, because I've been there for over 4 years. We never went after any opposition. So, if we should go after them after, that was not a protest, it was a riot that targeted the very core of our democratic existence, which is the law enforcement. If it was a protest, we will not lose 6 policemen in just few hours that they came out. It was organized, and it was mostly supported and organized, financed by the opposition. But because it's such a shameful act in today's world, they were hiding behind their fingers, but we could see them. So we let the law go after those who were involved and who were involved in the organization. That is all we did. And I saw in Germany last week, I think, they said there was a coup. They rounded up quite a lot of people, and they're still rounding up people. That is what happens when you have such an episodic eruption of violence where people needlessly lose their lives. It's my responsibility as head of state to make sure that it is investigated. And that time, whoever, if you in the opposition cannot use democratic means, then you are definitely not a part of the movement we are trying to do, which is democracy in Sierra Leone. So all of those nobody was unnecessarily invited or arrested or investigated. It is those who were directly involved in that organization. It was not a protest, it was a riot.
Mr. President, before your final words, what will be your major takeaways after you've attended this U.S.-Africa Leadership Summit? I was informed that you had several bilateral and multilateral meetings with U.S. government officials and some investors. So what will be your major takeaways as you head back to Sierra Leone?
Well, I live with a pleasant feeling that the United States is returning to the continent, and that the continent is also prepared to welcome the United States, be it both at the level of government, corporate institutions, and that we are prepared. We also want to make sure that they go with the knowledge that we don't have it all. We don't have all the infrastructure. We are a developing democracy. All our T's have not been crossed or I's dotted. And you go with such expectations. And that if we work together, we can actually cross the T's and dot the I's together. And we have a beautiful democracy where we will all live happily thereafter.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I sat down with Sierra Leonean President Ernest Bai Koroma the day before he and his 3 other colleagues met with U.S. President Barack Obama at the White House. Among other things, I asked him about allegations from Brigadier General Julius Maad Bio, his main opposition presidential candidate, who says the last election was neither free nor fair or credible.
I believe the issues of the elections are over. The results have been announced and been sworn in, have been inaugurated, and are moving ahead with the governance of the country. Julius Maada Bio, of course, is a citizen like any other citizen in the country, and it is my responsibility to ensure that he gets his due and he contributes towards the national development. I am open, and in that capacity, I have had meetings with him and the leadership of the SLPP, which is the major opposition party. In fact, before leaving on Friday, I think we had a meeting with the leadership of the party, because I believe in open dialogue. I engage political parties, including the major opposition party, and because of my good governance stance, throughout the period of my leadership, there has been no political prisoner. Nobody has been incarcerated for expressing a different political opinion, and the country is enjoying peace and quiet.
Has the Brigadier considered defeat as yet?
Well, in the last visit to State House, I think we all agreed that it is not a question of the outcome. The outcome of the elections is not in dispute. He went to State House to see his president, and I am the president. what more acknowledgement do you want?
How come you have such a remarkable degree of religious harmony? What is the secret behind that in Sierra Leone?
Well, I believe it is historical, and over the years we've had both Christian missionaries coming in, establishing schools all over the country, and allowing Christians as well as Muslims to attend the schools. And we've
this morning. Mr. President, thank you very much for having us this morning. How has your day been so far?
Well, today's better. At least we don't have a very wet day as yesterday. So, good.
You met President Biden as one of the 6 heads of state from Africa who got a one-on-one meeting with him. How did the meeting go, and what were your takeaways from the meeting?
Well, I would say it's a very constructive meeting because it's basically talking about resetting our relationship between the United States of America and Africa. There is a lot of history between the two, and there has been a drop in the relationship for a while, and we think this is not good for international relations. It's not good for development, multilateralism, and the many things that we want to do at the highest levels. So we came together to discuss how we can resuscitate this relationship. And of course, there are concerns about what is happening in Africa, especially with regards to security, threats to security, the economic crisis, the resurgence of military coups, etc., and how we can help to deal with these challenges, global challenges.
So you attended the U.S.-Africa Leadership Summit. A lot of bilateral agreements and business deals were done. What was your impression? Were your expectations met? And what are you taking back to Sierra Leone to help the people of Sierra Leone?
Well, I think that's one of the most important things for high-level meetings of this nature, a summit. It is not just what we say in the halls, but what happens in the little rooms around. I had the opportunity again to meet with MCC and to consolidate our relationship with the MCC that is going to spend at least nothing less than 350 million as grant to Sierra Leone. There are a few hiccups with the compact, but of course we amicably went through those, and we are now on the same page. We have met several other groups. I'm just from a meeting with other groups that are interested in Sierra Leone. Of course, they are very mindful of the fact that we go to elections in about 6 months, and a lot of companies are always a little jittery or careful, mindful, of the fact that elections can be quite disruptive. But I've told them that we are going to keep the peace. It's the stability, and because we are paying more attention to development rather than politics, we don't want any slowdown in activities once they concern development. So there are quite a lot of interesting discussions, meetings that I wouldn't say have come to fruition at this point in time, but they are very promising, and I'm happy that I had those meetings.
Mr. President, will Sierra Leone be ready, or is Sierra Leone ready for business, especially investors, those that you spoke with? Are there mechanisms or measures implemented to ensure that when they come in, their business interests and their investments will be protected? And will there be conflict resolution mechanisms? If there's a conflict, it could be resolved amicably?
You're talking about the business environment, the climate. We have worked on that, and we continue to pay keen attention to the business environment. My business is to make sure that I attract some of the most patient investors who will go there to invest for the mutual benefit of our country and also their own corporate entities. We have a few companies already from the US and other parts of the world operating in Sierra Leone, which means that we have a climate that permits the establishment and functioning. So we of course, we've had challenges or conflicts, and we are able to resolve them, especially as recent as, I think, 2 years ago, we had a serious challenge with an American company mining iron ore, and we were able to find a solution. I just saw them as a matter of fact. So which means we are ready. They are going in, they are operating, and where we've had challenges, we found a way out. That is conflicts are part of human relationship, and our business is to make sure that we incorporate into our governance.
Sorry, my mic was off. Now that's on one, I know, but I'm gonna leave it right here, guys. Thank you, everybody. All right, bye-bye. Okay, I'll go for do a special on this particular interview again to break it down. But thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.